right here, and I will show you why we must take care of our motorcycle. So, motorcycle is like we could press A, press B easily, not waiting for public transport such as BRT or BST or whatever public transport or Gojek maybe. Motorcycle is like a life, and we need a motorcycle like maybe every day we go to campus, we get a holiday or whatever. So first, taking care of our motorcycle regularly keeps it working well. Check the oil, check the oil pressure, check the tire pressure, and visit service shop often. If you don't take care of your motorcycle, the motorcycle can be slow, more use fuel, or maybe break down. It will break your body also. When you check the engine will be working well and very smooth, and you're feeling safe. Like those chain or brake or tiny tires before they become big and cost you more money. Maybe like your fenders or whatever. So, regular care saves money in the long run. You might see that care costs a lot, but fixing the big problems from care will cost more than small level checks like oil change and brake check. So, care is a good investment. If you use regularly brand like Yamaha, Honda, or whatever, its spare part is a lot of India. You can choose spare part like Plate 1, Plate 2, Plate 3, or whatever. You can modify the motorcycle to become anything like maybe the fourth. A good care motorcycle is safe and affordable to ride. Well, check brakes and good tires make you safer, especially on slippery road and in emergencies. Just like if you're in the mountain, your brake can be very smoothly, you feel safe now. Like in the tire barrier, taking care means taking off your safety too. Finally, regular care makes your motorcycle last longer. Like the price is slightly up, so not will be rusty very easily. Your parents will be proud, and also will not break down your money as much as you expect. So maybe that way we must take care of our motorcycle.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever thought about making a change, like exercising or studying more, or maybe reducing your phone usage? Well, but somehow you're doing the opposite. Yeah, it happens all the time. Maybe you think it's because of laziness, or maybe the lack of willpower, or maybe because we expect anything can be changed instantly, like flipping a switch. But in reality, Success doesn't come from one big action. It comes from small, steady habits that we are doing every day. And today I'd like to talk how those small habits can actually make a change in our lives. By the end of this speech, I hope you can understand how those small efforts can really make something big of a meaningful change in your life. Let's start with the first idea. Small habits shape our daily routines. Our daily routines maybe seem a bit ordinary, but they're actually building the structure of our daily lives. Think about it. We wake up every day, and most of what we do each day has been automatic. Getting up, getting breakfast, and move through a pattern we rarely question. But those patterns build who or what we are becoming. For example, if you decide to read a book for just 10 minutes instead of just scrolling on Instagram Reels every night, that might not seem much. But do that for a year and you have read several books. And without you even realizing it. That's the power of a habit. It makes improvement effortless once it becomes part of your small daily routines. Next idea, consistent habits build discipline. If you suddenly decide to run 5 kilometers a day, it may feel impossible after a week, or maybe even after just trying it once. It'll be easier to stay consistent if you decide to start with something smaller. Like walking around your house, and every time you keep that promise to yourself, even when you don't feel like it, you'll build mental strength. Over time, that consistency will turn into discipline, and discipline builds resilience. You will be able to keep going even when things get hard. You will start to realize that success isn't about doing it perfectly once, but about doing it repeatedly. And the final idea, small habits add up because of compounding. Let's say we have 2 students who have different habits. One student studies for 15 minutes every night, and the other student studies a night before an exam. After a few days, there might not be a big of a difference between them. But after a few months, the first student has built hours of review, while the other student is stressed and cramming. That's the power of compounding. Tiny improvement that multiply over time. It's like planting a seed. The results won't come right away, but we have to take little care over it every day, and one day it will grow into something big. So, how do you start building their habits? We start with something small and stay consistent with it. Don't wait for the perfect time. Do one small action, something simple, like reading 1 page of a book, drinking more water, anything. Do it every day and until it feels natural, until it becomes a part of your daily routine. Once it's a part of your life, add another one. To wrap up, I want you to remember this. Big change doesn't come from one huge move. It comes from small and steady steps. Those little steps, those little things you're doing every day, your routines, habits, and mindset are what shaping your future, what you will become one day. So if you want to improve, start it small, but do it today. Because one small step forward, taken every day, will take you farther than you can imagine. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Muhammad Zaki, Today I want to discuss the football training is so important for the youth. But it's so important because it's the process of training in football. Not only strength the body, but also builds the character, teamwork. There is even the possibility for the better future. First, let's start about physical health. Football improves running, jumping, kicking, and balance. All the exercise will have to keep your maintenance fitness. Make us strong and increase your stamina. Children who play football regular are health and they're less likely to slip improve. Standardly lifestyle dominated by nature. Second, football develops mental toughness and character. In training players learn discipline, responsibility for their position, and not giving up when they face difficulties in the field. There are the quality you need in school and in life. Third, football promotes teamwork and social interaction. No player is above to win a game by alone. Victor requesting communication, strategy, and unity and skill. Victor requesting communication, strategy, and unity. The teacher children to respect other player and team and not be selfish. Fourth, football career was to success and for football characters was to success and career. Many successful players gain their character with regular hard training at young age. With many other opposition such as coach, referee, commentator, club manager for those who never quit making a player sport work of play and career communication. Football exam can open the door to a great future. Finally, football offers a little something in the way of what happened in our young upstart. Talent straight, then marry bring pride to the family. But two of the world, football can bring people together and be national competition. Just think what Indonesia as whole in the S pride. Ladies and gentlemen, clearly when we look at everything we can pray, you can see it's not just about team about around on the football field. It is about health, discipline, teamwork, success, and serving the community. Let's counterate that youth to get involved in football training activities, whether it's through football, school, club, or communities in infinity. We are therefore seeking a generation that will be strong with body and mind, that will work together and will make our country bright. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As we all know, our country, Indonesia, is a beautiful country with thousands of islands and its diversity and equality. We need to acknowledge that this diversity we have, not only diversity between us, human, but our environmental, in that case, our endemic animals. Our people have been building and shaping this country. Even before this country gained its first independence in 1945. As you can see around you, this is a result of the development made by our predecessors. You can be proud of this development. Unfortunately, some of our people in another part of the country might not feel what we are feeling right now. Development has been decentralized in Sabah Island and other small islands, and even some of the regions in our other big islands like Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Sumatra, and Papua don't get the same chance and opportunity to enjoy the facilities we have here. Therefore, I want to make you realize that our development shouldn't be limited to Sabah. There are other islands in the country that have so much potential if we start building them. But as I have said, we also need to acknowledge the diversity in our environment, so the development has to happen without endangering our endemic animals in the process. Speaking about endemic animals, Indonesia has approximately 835 to 8,766 endemic animal species. These animals are mostly located outside of the island of Java, our center of development. This proves that development in Java that happened in the past was done without considering the environmental impact it caused. This can happen again when we want to develop in other islands that need our attention. It allows to preserve and support the development without endangering the endemic animals. Recently, we have heard about the killing of Ibu Kota Nusantara, or IKN, that was done without considering the environmental effects. Thailand has said that 77,000 territories in IKN are home to wild animals. There is also an unstoppable threat of floods since, well, he said, changes in forests and watershed landscapes will damage the natural hydrological system. The development has to consider the factors also in order to preserve all this diversity. If we are talking about Kalimantan's development in particular, we must also realize that there are no road railways there. Railways are always important for the economic sector and other sectors. Having no railways in it was just a disappointment. Actually, this railway issue also happened in many parts of the country, especially in the east of Indonesia, including Papua, Nusa Tenggara, Bali, and more. We also need to build more schools in the more rural parts of Indonesia, like Aceh, Papua, Nusa Tenggara, and East Kalimantan. Because children there need education, and the nation has to be there to provide it. Imagine if every child in the country got a proper education. Most of the nation's problems could be solved without having to call an expert from a group. That might at least lead to a significant decline in crime rates and an increase in the quality of human resources. We also need to highlight the lack of healthcare in some of the rural areas. Because healthcare is important to increase life expectancy and prosperity on our civilians. Ladies and gentlemen, to look ahead for the future of the country, we need to develop more outside of Java Island. As I stated earlier, we can imagine the rich potential of developing in less urban areas like in Java. With a strong economy, when we build our baseline, the increasing quality of our human resource occurs when we open more schools, and the increasing prosperity of our people with proper health care in the rural areas will become a great nation. And I can assure you that the future will be bright. But as I also stated, this development shouldn't overlook any environmental issues that might occur in the process. Therefore, I would say that we should balance the map that benefits all, that benefits our civilians and our natural resources. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to talk with you today. So, you've seen something on your feed that made your blood boil or filled you with profound anxiety, or simply propelled you to share it right away. Only to read a fact check letter that revealed the information was completely false. I'd wager that most of us have. We are living in the age of speed communication. Truth and fake moves at light speed. So, what I want to share with you is the important physical expression as our struggle against hopelessness. So, I have straightforward aim to get you to believe this talk a little bit smarter, a little bit more critical, a little bit more responsible about how we use the digital world. Because at the end of this day, digital literacy is something that everyone needs to have if they want to guard themselves against the harmful errors of fake news. So, ladies and gentlemen, fake news is not a misprint or harmless oversight. It's poison being deliberately disseminated to manipulate public opinion, stoke fear, and cause widespread disunity. And then, think of the consequences. Hoaxes around health have made people too afraid to get vaccinated. Hoaxes about social and ethnic tension have spurred community violence. And political hoaxes weaken the very foundation of our democracy with troubling regularity. The pace of social media leaves us open, and who is to say we are so emotional, angry, or excited before we even pause. When you press that the share button, you become a distributor of false information at no cost. We have no understand there's a powerful anti-danger out there. So, how do we guard against the digital poison? The answer is inside us. So, our personal protective barrier, cultivating critical thinking, digital literacy. Our protector is digital literacy, is the digital literacy shield that is our protection. A lot of people think digital literacy just means knowing how to use a smartphone or social media, but it goes much deeper. Digital literacy is the ability to access, evaluate, and use information for good and in an ethical way. The core principle is critical thinking. When we receive information on our feed, we have to stop, grab, and asking ourselves, who is saying this? What is their evidence? What is their agenda? With these few things, we are no longer passive consumer of information, but rather gatekeepers. We make a choice about what to let in and what to throw out. So let's turn these 3 steps into new digital habits. Step 1, source. Not just the headline, don't trust a screenshot or post by an anonymous account. Ensure the story is from a legitimate new organization, not a suspicious blog. And the step 2 is check the date and the picture. Hoaxes rely on old news or photos that we have misprinted. If a headline looks overhyped all the way through story is their alignment. Use tools such as a Google reverse image search to confirm whether the image is real and is being misused or taken out of context. And then the last, step 3, cross-check with official agencies. It's a new story about a government policy, health, emergency, look for it on the official website that I can see. Don't trust just forward chain messages. If in doubt, don't stock it with you. Following these 3 steps isn't only for your own safety, but also for the safety of those around us. Ladies and gentlemen, the takeaway we need to have from this hoaxes are dangerous. Digital literacy is our defense. That defense is engaged through first and step. Check the source, confirm the info, and stop sharing if you are still unsure. Our important central idea is digital literacy is a vital skill for everyone to protect themselves from the harmful effects of hoaxes. Fighting hoaxes is our duty for all of us. We will never delete all hoaxes from the internet, but we can stop the chains of dissemination. As of today, let us pledge to be digital literacy ambassadors in our families, friends, and also the communities. Be smart in digital world. Pause before you share, before you like, think. That's all from me. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Before we start, I want to ask a question. How many of you spend most of your weekend in your room scrolling on your phone, watching dramas, or just lying down doing nothing? Be honest.
day.
Maybe 6 times a day.
Yeah, me too sometimes. That's very relatable for most of us, right? But here's something we probably forget while we are doing that, drinking enough water. Today I'm going to talk about something simple but often ignored. The importance of drinking water, especially for us Gen Z, who spend a lot of time in our rooms. My goal is simple, to remind all of us that staying hydrated is not just about quenching thirst, but about taking care of our energy, focus, and overall health even while we are doing nothing. Let's be honest. Many of us can survive hours scrolling through TikTok or being watching Netflix without even touching a glass of water. We might drink coffee, milk tea, or soda instead. But water, really, here's the truth. Our bodies are made up of about 60 or to 70% of water. That means every single part of us, our brain, our skin, our muscles depends on it. When we don't drink enough, we're not just thirsty. We are slowing down our brain, our mood, and our metabolism. First, let's talk about focus and energy. When we are dehydrated, our brains work slower. You know that tired, lazy feeling after hours on your phone? It's not always because of boredom, it can also be dehydration. Studies show that even mild dehydration can reduce concentration and make us feel more fatigued. So if you often feel unmotivated while studying or working on your laptop, maybe you don't need another coffee, you just need water. Second, water affects our skin and appearance. Gen Z cares about looking fresh, right? We use skincare, serums, filter, but without water. Our skin can still look dull and dry. Drinking enough water helps the skin stay hydrated from the inside, keeping it smooth and glowing. So you could say water is the cheapest skincare you ever buy. Third, let's talk about health and daily comfort. Sitting or lying in your room all day may seem harmless, but without proper hydration, you're more likely to feel headache, dry eyes, and even digestive problems. Water helps regulate body temperature and remove toxins. Imagine your body as a smartphone without water. It's like running on low battery mode. Everything slows down. So what can we do? It's simple. Start small. Keep a water bottle near your bed or desk. Set reminders on your phone every few hours. If plain water feels boring, add lemon slices of fruit for a bit of flavor. The goal isn't perfection. It's progress. Small, consistent habits make the biggest difference. To wrap up, let's remember this. Water may be the most ordinary drink, but it has the most extraordinary impact on our health. As Gen Z, we're often focused on trends, technology, productivity, but none of that matters if our bodies are running dry. So next time you're lying in bed scrolling through your phone, ask yourself, when was the last time I drank water? Because staying hydrated isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving even in our most comfortable space, our room. Thank you.